Welcome to Using PIM and Self-Service to Accelerate Online Transactions and Customer Experience. And a warm welcome to Todd Johnson and Andrew Nixon. Todd Johnson, the PIM Practice Lead at Shift7 Digital, and Andrew Nixon, Senior Director Enterprise Applications at Hunter Douglas. A warm welcome to Pinpoint Digital.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves, and Todd, I'm going to ask you to go first.
Thank you. My name is Todd Johnson. I'm the PIM Practice Lead here at Shift7. Shift7 is a digital agency that focuses exclusively on B2B manufacturers, helping them with their digital transformation. I bring about 14 years of digital experience to the table. I was a developer in the early days and realized quickly that I like talking to people more than I like writing code. So my role at Shift7 is actually more of a translator. I understand the technical side of what needs to be done on a project from a technical perspective, and I also work with the business. So I'm the glue that kind of translates the technical needs and the business requirements together for the projects.
And Andrew?
Andrew Nixon. Like I said, I'm a Senior Director of Enterprise Applications at Hunter Douglas. I've worked in the information technology space my entire career. Started in the early 90s working on ERP systems, specifically SAP, and have gradually broadened my skills and my horizons to focus on all enterprise applications. At Hunter Douglas, we use SAP as our primary backend system for our manufacturing processes, and then we have a bunch of other systems that we use for customer experience. We use the Salesforce platform. We use LMS systems. We use portals, websites to service our customers. And myself and my team are responsible for the North American operations of Hunter Douglas for all of those enterprise applications that we use to run our business and service our customers.
So I'm curious to know, and I'm sure everybody who's watching this is curious to know a little more about Hunter Douglas. So who is Hunter Douglas?
So Hunter Douglas, we the world's leading provider of window treatments and architectural products. We operate globally, so all over the world we have different business units that operate fairly autonomously in their geographies, and then within North America we operate in Canada, the US, and Mexico, and we really do provide the world's best window treatments. I think people out there hopefully know our products and hopefully have them in their homes. But our strategic tenets are innovation, so our products are continually changing, keeping up with lately home automation and connected homes. Quality, we strive to provide the best quality products out there, and customer experience. We believe our products are superior products you get out there. So once you've purchased our products, we focus on making sure that our customers have a great experience with our products and they stay in their homes for a long, long time. And when they're looking to upgrade their homes, they come back to us.
So tell me a little about this digital transformation at Hunter Douglas, and why was that maybe needed? You told me a lot about the different systems already in place, but why was it digital transformation needed?
So at Hunter Douglas, we've really grown through acquisition over the years. We're 101 years old, by the way. I neglected to mention that. So we've been around for a long time, and a lot of our growth in probably the last 30 years has been through acquisition. So we've acquired a lot of different smaller window treatment fabricators and integrated them into our environments. And our primary selling channel is through distribution. So independent dealers out there that we sell through, and they, it's all the way from your mom and pop type store to a larger company. And historically, it's been very much a relationship-focused business. It still is, but people calling us, interaction, direct face-to-face interaction with salespeople. And obviously, as the world's changed and people have become more connected and everything, we've had a much larger need to have a digital presence and provide our customers an easier, quicker way to access to us. We've grown as a company, so we have tens of thousands of customers we need to support, and with all the technology available to us, there's many things we can do for our customers to provide them, to focus on a better experience. It's giving them an easier way to interact with us and giving them a unified platform that they can interact with us. I think, even 10 years ago, they probably had 5 or 6 different tools they had to go through to do various, perform various transactions with us, and we want to bring it all together for them. So there's one spot for them to go. They understand how to interact with us. They can do things quickly. We can get the right things to them first time. And like I said, provide them with that great customer experience. And, as the world changes, and I think with the pandemic, that pushed a couple more things when you couldn't get face-to-face with people. So I think we're similar to a lot of companies that have had to evolve as technology and people have evolved. And that's how people want to interact with people today. So, that's what's led us down this journey.
And why specifically, what led you to PIM? So,
again, a lot of our focus in the past has been on our, call it back-end systems, our SAPs, our ERP. We manufacture things. So a lot of the focus has been on that manufacturing system, making sure we can build the products. And a lot of our information was geared towards our internal people, so who understood, more maybe technical language for components, for products. But as we get out in front of our customers, our dealers certainly understand our products very well. But we realized that we couldn't just provide them the back-end view of the data. We needed a different view of the data. We also have different audiences. So we have our dealers, we have installers, we have designers, we have consumers, and all those audiences see data differently. So they need to have it presented to them differently, and they need different information to find what they would like. So we were going to go down the journey of doing more e-commerce type work, and fairly quickly realized that before we could just put something out there in a digital way, we had to actually go and take a good look at our data and make sure that it was easy for people to find and easy for people to use, that there were images, there were maybe videos, things that would really help people understand that our products are complex. There's many, thousands and thousands of components that can go into shades, depending on configurations, depending on colors, depending on options. And it's not as straightforward as just, quickly understanding all the components within your shade. So, we wanted to put this customer-facing view on our information that historically has had a manufacturing slant to it.
And talking about manufacturing, Todd, what do you typically see with manufacturing companies?
Manufacturers are typically not early adopters of technology. So at Shift 7, we specifically work with manufacturers, and one of the things that we run into is they typically have systems that have been in place for a long time. They have processes that they've been using for years, and they're very ingrained in that. And in order to make change there, one, we have to help them understand just exactly what a PIM is and how a PIM can help them. In addition to, say, the change management process. So now that they've got this new piece of technology, they're going to have to change their ways because they've been doing something one way for such a long time that we're going to introduce a tool that is actually going to make their lives a lot easier, make things much more efficient, but they don't really know how to use it. So there's a big educational component that we run into with working with manufacturers. In addition, we also see that their content is usually dispersed over a variety of different systems. Usually there's always an ERP, and that will have the source data. But then data is usually scattered in spreadsheets and people's desktops. Assets might be in a DAM, but they might be in some sort of network storage. So understanding where everything is in order to bring it together into the PIM, which is the point, is usually a challenge. And then once we do that, getting a look or taking a look at their content. So a lot of times there's holes in their data. And as Andrew had mentioned, a lot of times the information that they have is very manufacturing focused. So it doesn't always have maybe a customer facing feel to it. So we make sure when we design the system for them that they've got placeholders in order to bring in that if they need the manufacturing type copy, that we also have a place for them to put in all of the content that would be easy for an end consumer to understand. So it's a journey, it's a process, and it takes a while in order to take what they have today and put it into a much more like marketing, easy to understand, digest.
So Andrew, tell me a little about your current state. I know you said earlier that you already had identified the need for a PIM before introducing this new e-commerce site. So tell me a little about where are you now?
Yeah, so what we decided to, like I mentioned earlier, we have different audiences. We service our consumers, we service our dealers, our installers, our designers, and we initially started this journey wanting to give our dealers a better experience, to be able to find spare parts when they needed them, order them, quickly, easily, because, like I said, our products are complex and it's far more challenging than you realize to figure out what your spare part for your shade is. And so when we decided that we needed this different experience for our dealers, we wanted to work through a proof of concept first to make sure we had it right. And we do allow consumers to purchase a subset of spare parts directly from us. And, we deliver those free of charge to the consumers to, repair any minor issues they may have with their shades. So we decided to start with our consumers who traditionally have had to call our call center to get a spare part or email us was their two avenues. So we have begun the journey with our consumers to provide about 500 commonly used spare parts that we know consumers will need over time. And we're going to put those out on a commerce site that they can just go and easily navigate to find their part. That's the tricky part, is like, what part do I actually need? There's, like I say, different colors, different, we have launches every year enhancing our products. So if you bought the product 3 years ago, it may be a slightly different component than if you bought the product this year. So we want to provide them a guided experience on a commerce site that they can go through like easy to follow images and directions to find the exact part they want, be able to give them a decent description of the part that makes sense to them, maybe put some measurements on the part so they can, compare it to exactly the tassel that's hanging on their shade. Color is important in our business. So making sure that you've got a good image that they can really look and see the color of that image. And then, any sort of notation or advice we want to give to them, we can provide to them through the PIM. If there's something specific they need to know when looking at that component, we can provide some additional text for them to give it to help them find that part. So at the end of the day, where we are is we've built out the PIM. We've focused on the data, fixing that data and providing and getting that data to the point that it makes sense for them, enriching it. To Todd's point, our assets were not stored in our SAP system. We store it in a digital asset management system. So working with Shift 7, we've now been able to bring all that data together. And also the other, we don't touch on this much with the PIM, but have people put eyes on it first through a workflow and make sure that data is complete before you release it to an external website that a consumer is going to see. So that's where we are right now, is working through making sure that data is right. And then our next step is then to turn on, that e-commerce site, which we already have, multiple e-commerce sites. So we're really going to repurpose something we have and put this data behind it. So that's our next step that we're moving on to. Now that we got the PIM set and people are working through the data, making sure the images are there, making sure the descriptions are there, and then we'll get it out on the site for our consumers so they can easily order themselves some spare parts when they need them.
So Todd, Andrew is describing the current state. It would be interesting to hear current state of the solution.
So the project actually started out as an MVP. Hunter Douglas shades are not finished goods, so to speak. So many of the customers that we engage with have a product that they sell that you can buy off the shelf. With Hunter Douglas, the shade itself is really a compilation of a number of components. So in this case, they were focusing on parts. So it's all the parts that make up a shade. And they were going to bring over just a handful. This was more of a proof of concept, a couple hundred. And once we got into the project, we realized that it might just be better to bring over more parts. And in addition, there's a process that already existed with Hunter Douglas where they were making swatches available to their dealers. And the focus of this project was to mimic that same process, but with parts and make those available to consumers. So we expanded the scope of the project to include not only parts, but swatches. And then additionally, we did an integration with AEM, with their DAM, so that we can tie images into the PIM as well. So images will come in, they'll automatically link up to the parts that are in the system. And then that all then gets pushed downstream to a Salesforce community site. So it started small and we kind of expanded it out, and there's still a ways to go, but it was an interesting journey where what they thought was just going to be a small little proof of concept project got a little bigger, and I think it has a much more benefit.
Then I'm very curious to hear, how does the future look like? What's the future phase? Is it expanding on what you already built? Andrew, what would you say?
Yeah, for sure. Like we said, our proof of concept is around our consumers who order that subset of parts. We ultimately want to provide this to our dealers as well, who can order tens of thousands of parts. We also have installation services. Installers, require a lot of spare parts and things in their vans. So provide them, all of our audiences to order that, and ultimately we'll probably expand to about 50,000 components or so that can be ordered through e-commerce platforms. And again, our journey started with trying to build an e-commerce solution for spare parts, and we quickly realized that the nuts and bolts was prepping your data. So what we'll do after we go live with our consumers is then we'll start bringing in more of these parts and enriching the data, really focus on that data enrichment. As you can imagine, that's a lot of parts for people to work through, and you really want eyes on every single one of them to make sure we've got the right information in that. So we're going to spend a lot of time next year focusing on bringing in all that data. When we have all that data, then we will update our e-commerce solutions. We have e-commerce solutions for our dealers and installers now, and we'll really evaluate what the right e-commerce solution is once we have that data prepped and ready to go. We may use our existing e-commerce solutions. We may implement new e-commerce solutions. We haven't quite decided that yet. We really want to see how this goes with the consumers, and then look at that data and figure out what the best experience for our dealers is going to be. But our dealers is what we want to get to. They are really our end customers, and they support our consumers. So we really want to make sure we get to our dealers and provide them an easy, flexible way to order the parts they need to keep their customers happy.
Thank you so much for being part of Pinpoint Digital, Andrew and Todd. It's been a pleasure having you here and talking about the solutions and the way forward for Hunter Douglas. I'm well, all of those parts, I'm not jealous at all about adding all of that information into it. But give me a call if I'm needed. I'm happy to help. I won't be of help, but I'm happy to help.
Right. Well, thank you very much. It was
Yeah,
great to be
appreciate
here.
it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody who was watching. Thank you, and bye-bye.